You are watching a Fact TV presentation of the town of Swanzey.
I'm good.
All right.
I don't have.
That's all right. We don't. All right. Ready? What's that?
Hey, okay.
All right. Call the meeting to order. And Mark will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready, Garrett? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Did everyone have a chance to go through their packets? We have the minutes. We're going to hold off from the 26th and the 19th to next week. So we'll have them well in advance, so you have opportunity to read them. We have a motion regarding the consent agenda.
Make a motion that we accept the consent agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Public input. Jim!
Yes.
Hey, Jim.
The town has a right of way on Wilson Pond Road. It's right next to Jim and Kathy Newton's property. And
Is it a right of way? It's an owned strip, I believe, by the town. An owned right of way?
yeah, I thought it was the right of way. What's Cindy's last name?
I don't know her last name. It's the one I mentioned to you.
About the plow.
Before.
About the fact somebody plowed it?
Yeah.
Well, it started during the summer months, about late summer. People are going down there and parking. And then when they come back out of there, because of the incline, they're just burning out, working, just peeling it back.
So they're pulling vehicles into
Yeah,
the
the
right of
vehicles
way?
are down there. And then, at the end of summer last year and fall, we had people going, driving down in there, backing in there, but spending the night. And then leaving the next day. So that's what started it. And now this winter, we get some of the storms, and somebody's plowing it, and people are going down in there. I would imagine they're ice fishing, but so I'm asking if the town could possibly, even if they put in like 3 or 4 pieces of pipe, just so people could walk through, but they wouldn't be able to drive down there.
Bollards like on the rail trail entrances?
Yeah, something like, just like so that people wouldn't be able to drive down there. I'm trying to think, it's Cindy something, her property joins right there. She's down there all the time picking up garbage.
Cindy and Saldo. ANSALDO.
Yeah,
That's where I heard it.
Mark, do you have the ability to find the map and lot number? Or,
Sure, absolutely.
That'd be helpful.
Yeah, I'll
If we
try to
had
do
that.
it right now.
But there's more than one, Jim, if I remember correctly. Not necessarily on that
And
road.
by the way, I talked to Jim this week, not about this, and he told me he was going to bring this, so he's bringing this independent of what I presented to you the other week.
It's a good team effort. You might want to.
because we're getting a bunch of new faces and not really good new faces.
Well, we should.
So obviously,
We could just leave it.
if we could keep them from going down there and parking and hanging out down there and stuff, like we'd appreciate
So
it.
basically what we're trying to do, walking it is fine. It's more the motorized vehicles that you're concerned with.
And try it, see if they would.
My concern would be that when I was a police officer and we were discussing that, someone had told us that it was actually a boat launch, so I don't know if we can block it, if it's actually a state boat launch to go. But I don't know if that was true or not. When we were having the issue with Mr. Newton and the other neighbors, we were told that it was a state boat launch, so that we couldn't block it.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, we've had Fish and Game look at the actual boat launch, and they never made mention of it. And, I think there is a state boat launch on Wilson Pond. It's not that big, it's 72 acres. So, yeah, I think it's just a public access, and to what degree, I think is what we're talking about here. We're not looking to restrict it from the public, we're just looking to restrict the vehicles. I do know when I was here and I was presenting, I mentioned it to you, Bruce was here. You asked how wide it is, or somebody asked him. He pulled up the map and he says it's 6 feet wide where it originates, and I think he said it was 30 or 40 feet wide at the water. And the reason it's narrower is this person, Cindy, who lives across the street, owns a piece of the land on the other side of the street next to the Newtons that kind of goes down there. And I think that's what creates the narrow initial approach. It seems like it's more than 6 feet to me, but that's what you say. But I'll see if I can find it.
That piece of property is right to the left of Mrs. Snow's house on the water's edge.
I almost told you to me, because I saw you and Joe, as we went by through the morning, saying, hey, you want to come by and look at these access areas. I know you said you do it with Joe, but you might want to do it with somebody who might be more familiar with itself.
And then I just got one other thing. Back in late summer, early fall, we had an issue with a guy camping on the weekends over at the boat launch. And we discussed it at a few of the town meetings. And if I remember this correctly, the police couldn't do anything about it because it wasn't posted. So I thought that we were going to put a no camping sign there so that they would be able to. I'm only bringing it up because summer's going to be here.
So which parcel is this?
It's right there on Route 32.
Oh, right, with
Right,
beaches?
yeah. He would come in with like a 24, 28 foot camper and spend the weekend there.
Now, the question is that an official launch?
So Joe G will be here next week. If you're able to come, it would be helpful, but in the meantime, we'll let him know.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Was that?
I was saying if that's an official boat launch that will give the state the permission to use as a boat launch. You can't be any swimming or fishing within 250 feet, I believe it
I
is.
remember that was part of the conversation too.
Yeah.
So it ends up being enforcement, which is a challenge.
Of course.
But we'll get that to Joe, and if you're able to come next week, you'll be able to talk
I'll be
about it
here.
specifically.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you. Anything else? All right. We have no appointments tonight, so it'll be a quick meeting. First item on our agenda under new business is Swanzey Lake, the Lake Host Program payment, and we have a letter in our packet. Supporting information with regard to the $3,000 expenditure. Can we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve $3,000 to go to New Hampshire Lake Host Program.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The question I had, the next item on our agenda is the updated agreement with Pilgrim Pines. Has this been reviewed by Cordell, to your knowledge?
I'm not sure if it has been.
Okay, then I'd like to defer until we make sure that Cordell has reviewed it. No, we're just defer. Okay, then we had a couple of items We'll be interested in your input on these. One is with regard to opening Pandora's box, with regard to some name changes, street name changes. We went through a significant process. I don't know if any of y'all were involved, but about 4 or 5 years ago, where we renamed quite a few streets in town. Went through and it is a public hearing process. The one that we're considering now is renaming California Street on the east side of Route 10 to Main Street, to make Main Street continue through, just to avoid confusion. So that, we're just putting it out there. We're not making a decision, just opening it up for discussion and conversation. But there is, if you guys are open to discussing it and moving it forward, there is a process we need to follow with the post office and obviously public hearing.
Isn't it where it goes to Viewpoint?
No, right out here, comes from Route 10 into here.
Oh.
So Main Street stops at the park, 53 Main Street, and then it changes over to California Street. You know, when you cross Route 10, it comes to California Street, and then it makes a right, it comes to California Brook. So there's literally 3 roads.
I'm thinking about talking about just all Main Street.
Well, Main Street to Route 10, and then maybe renaming California Brook, one or the other,
Right.
so it extends all the way up, just to avoid confusion.
Yeah. I think about talking about that and pursuing it. Is that what you're saying? I think it's a good move.
Okay, what do you think?
I agree, I think it's a good move too.
Okay, all right, then we'll put that on a future agenda.
Yeah.
We'll
Good.
figure out all the different moving parts. Michael, Mark?
Yeah, just to go back, it's map 103, lot 47.
Could you say that again for Megan? So
It's map 103, lot 47. And just so, you'll see, it's 50 feet at the road and 6 feet at the water.
what was
This right here is lot 45. So,
Can I see that now? Where's the lake and where am I
this is
looking at?
the lake.
Yeah.
This is the lot that's in question.
This piece right here.
This is water's edge. So it's 50 feet here, 6 feet at the water.
This is, what's water's edge?
Just this is water's edge street.
it's the name of the street. So we don't actually have
So
frontage
where's the water? Where, oh, they're driving in.
6 feet of frontage.
Where are they
on
driving
the
in?
water, but
Yeah.
on water's edge, we don't have
We
frontage.
really don't have, they're actually using her property to do that.
This lady here?
Yeah, 45, yeah, across the street.
Yeah, but our hands are tied really in this situation, if you look at it. You know, I mean, we really can't even do nothing about that. We don't have no frontage. I mean, unless you got that little corner we were talking about, right, Bill?
Yeah, there's nothing there.
I thought the 50 was where they were going in. I thought it was-
I thought so too.
It's the opposite, the 50 feet is the front, and it's, I mean, 50 feet is to the water's edge, so.
50 feet is,
50 feet is on it's not at the street, but it's near the street. The 6 feet is the water's edge.
Yeah.
so it's even worse, they're using her property to get into the town property.
You don't get to the water.
And who knows, it might be a right of way on her property because of this access, you know. I know she's complaining that has no issues with that, so.
Okay. Well, thanks for bringing that up. Michael, you'll be happy about this one. We're going to discuss having a joint meeting with the planning board, the zoning board, the conservation committee, and the board of selectmen.
Yeah, but that's needed. Really.
What's that?
It's really needed because as we go forward with zoning changes, we would like the select board's input with it also. I mean, that's something we're going to work on this year. So we would like your input on that.
Well, we did weigh in last year.
You did, and
We
we did what we could, but the well-meaning people didn't really understand the repercussions of doing what they did. So I think they've come around now to understand that we have to protect both owners' property rights and protect the wetlands. And we also got to get people convinced about the impact fees still. So those are the two big things I see coming up this year. A lot of other zoning things are going to be decided at the state level we're not going to have a choice with.
Sure.
And there's several of them. And try to bring a list of that to the meeting and where they're standing. Right now, 84, the lot line thing is waiting for Governor Ayo's signature, which I think she signs it. She's going against her promise when she ran of not massing up New Hampshire. My personal opinion. One size does not fit all.
Right.
Should be decision of the people in town, in my opinion.
Local control, or not. So what do you guys think about having a joint meeting with the other boards?
So we'll all get in one room and talk. Soon? Later.
I think we would want to do it when we have the new town administrator.
Correct.
But plus that would give time to plan it out.
Middle of May?
Middle of May, June. Yeah. That'd be all right.
I'd try for June.
What's that?
I would strive for June.
That may be what we have to do.
Just because Conservation Committee meets, once a month. I know there's a subcommittee working on some of the stuff that they're not really talking around. I'll know more coming off of April's meeting where they're at. I think June will probably be a better window, I think, for all the committees. Because the planning board, even what they're trying to do with conditional use permitting process, right? It's still in its infancy.
Well, the vision for this is less specific and more general. When we as a board started talking about it a few years ago, it was really just to give the boards a sense of what the Board of Selectmen's perspective was with regard to development. It wasn't specific to amendments, zoning, or anything. It was just a general, so that if, in other words, following what the master plan has and how we as a board felt about it, right? And then determining from that what would come of it. But I personally don't think it's really not
A working session, it's more of a,
I think it could be a working session, but not specific to any particular topics. There's some members of the boards that we may not know, and committees, so it's a good way to, I think, communicate with each other. It would seem to me it would be helpful for boards to know what the Board of Selectmen consider.
and I think it's finding the balance, right? And that balance should be defined in the master plan. I'll tell you, in all my exposure to the various boards and committees, I certainly know people who are pro-development. I don't know anybody who's anti-development. Even the people who are pro-conservation are not anti-development. And I think that's a good starting point to have that be known and try to come up with the balance, because I think that balance is key.
Yeah. I don't think any of us disagree. Well, I know I don't disagree with that. I don't think my colleagues do either. Anybody have anything else? Maybe? Anybody here have anything else before we go into non-public? Yeah. All right. Thanks very much for coming. Oh, excuse me, there is one item that I missed.
It's going to take a while for Jim to get down the elevator. It still took a while. What's it Come on, Jim, let's get a head start.
All right, I did miss one. I did totally miss one. We had a bidding process for repainting Wickham Hall, Town Hall,
40,000 approved.
and the Grange. And the successful bidder was CM Minkler, for $40,000 to paint Wickham Hall and Town Hall. And that was a negotiated discussion between Joe DeRusso and the ownership at Minkler. So we do have that motion.
We did put the Grange on hold.
I make a motion that we authorize the interim town administrator to work with Public Works executing all necessary approvals, awards, and repaying contract based on the issued RFP with the revised proposal attached from CM makeup for a total of $40,000 for Wickham Hall and Town Hall.
Second.
And the funds will come from, in part, from the Peter Johnson Memorial Trust that they donated money, which we accepted last week, and then the Town Hall and Whitcomb Hall expendable trust funds as needed.
Yeah, I sent Jimmy a thing that you have 40,000 in CIP, that was budget.
Okay, thank you. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, thanks very much.
Thank you, guys.
I did bring up the balls. You know, I can't let the balls. I hope we should just
I think it's up to that meeting.
relook at
Yeah.
what we had collectively, individually put together, and maybe next week we can come together and talk about it. All right, so what? Yeah, next week.
And then you want to go over these dates?
No, you don't have to make that. What we would normally do is if we were going to meet on alternate weeks, we would announce that we're meeting every Wednesday. Before we go public session, we're gonna do the fire station committee, award the certificates, and then the week after we'll do the TIF committee. You don't get, you can't sign your own certificate.
I got one.
That's because it was.
He gets one for the fire committee.
So I don't get one.
Yeah, the selectmen's with you.
I get shut out of everything. Oh, lunch at the town hall.
You know, if you have
Yeah,
reasonably
food, I
priced
have-
food and
No, I
drink.
took this job, I came with benefits. I don't got one benefit of this job.
All right, what do we want to go to non-public?
We're in non-public now? or-
No. What are we going in under?
A.
Make a motion to go into non-public under 91A.
I'll second that.
Megan?
Roll call, Vanessa.
Aye.
Public.
Me. All right, we're in non-public here.